All right, today we're jumping into a classic Azerbaijani trickster tale. It's about an underdog named Keçəl, which, well, it literally just means Baldy. And that simple, cruel nickname, that's where this whole story of misery and some seriously brilliant revenge gets started.
So this chant, you gotta understand, this thing followed Keçəl everywhere. It wasn't just some kid's taunt on the playground. No, this was a constant daily humiliation. It was a reminder that he was an outcast, mocked by pretty much everyone, especially the son of the man he worked for.
But here's the thing. This story is so much more than just about bullying. It's really about a breaking point. It's about how the smartest, sharpest mind in the entire village belonged to the one guy nobody ever paid attention to. And oh man, did he learn how to weaponize that mind to get some truly spectacular revenge. Okay, so let's set the scene. To really get why Keçəl is so brilliant, you have to understand just how desperate he was. I mean, he wasn't just some lonely guy. He was a servant who was being pushed right to the absolute edge. Just try to imagine this for a second. Your only payment for a whole day of back-breaking work is bread. And not just any bread. It's stale, week-old bread that's so hard it actually gives you sores in your mouth. That was Keçəl's life. His boss, this super cruel and stingy merchant, basically treated him like he wasn't even a person. And this is the moment it all goes wrong. Keçəl is in real pain, right? His tooth literally breaks on the so-called food he's supposed to live on. And what does he get? Sympathy? Nope. The merchant's son just laughs at him, mocking him even more. This right here, this is the breaking point. And bam! This is the turning point. Keçəl has had enough, and he finally fights back. He takes that piece of bread, the very symbol of his oppression, and he uses it as a weapon. The story says the boy's head split like a watermelon. It's brutal, it's shocking, and it's the moment that kicks off this whole incredible revenge plot. So after he hits the boy, Keçəl's got to run for it. But this is where the story really starts. He's not a victim anymore. He becomes this master of schemes, using nothing but his incredible mind as a weapon against all these powerful people who are trying to crush him. Okay, check out his first brilliant move, the rug trap. The merchant's plan is simple and brutal. Have his goons beat Keçəl to death while he's wrapped up in a rug. But Keçəl, being Keçəl, slips out, drugs his master, and wraps him in the rug instead. Then he just casually tells the merchant's own men to beat the rug. I mean, talk about a perfect poetic reversal. But of course, this system is totally rigged, right? The merchant, all bruised up, runs straight to the corrupt local judge. And even though Keçəl was the one who almost got murdered, he's the one who gets sentenced to a year of free labor. So now he's trapped again, forced to work for the very guy who just tried to have him killed. Unbelievable. But this is where Keçəl's strategy just gets next level. He overhears the crooked judge planning a little something with the merchant's wife. Day one, they use a trail of nuts to meet up for a secret meal. Keçəl just moves the trail and eats the food himself. Day two, they try again with hazelnuts. Same thing happens. Finally, day three, he catches them red-handed. And now he's got blackmail material on both the judge and his master's wife. Genius. And what's the payoff for all that cleverness? Well, he gets 100 manats from the judge to shut up and another 100 from the wife. Just like that, in one single move, he's not a servant anymore. He's a rich man. So the merchant, he just can't stand seeing Keçəl with money. So he challenges him to a lying contest. The merchant comes up with this, what he thinks is an unbeatable lie, about a pitchfork so huge it had to be stored in heaven. But this is where Keçəl is just a master. He doesn't just tell a bigger lie, he incorporates the merchant's lie into his own. He says, oh yeah, my grandfather built a stable on an ant's back up in that same heaven, just so he could store your grandfather's pitchfork. Game over. Keçəl wins. Okay, so for his last-ditch effort, the merchant literally fakes his own death to get out of paying. It's ridiculous. But Keçəl just rolls with it. He shows up pretending to be all sad. Then he announces that the merchant's final wish was for Keçəl to wash his body, and then he starts boiling a huge pot of water. Well, guess what? The corpse suddenly decides he's not so dead after all and pays up, fast. All right, so he's got his freedom, he's got his money, and this is where Keçəl's story takes this really cool turn. He basically goes from being this clever trickster to a full-on fairy tale hero. So he figures, hey, it's time to start a new life, maybe find a wife. His travels take him deep into a forest, and there he finds this mysterious spring.
He's tired, he's dirty, so he figures, why not take a bath?
And you won't believe what happens next. It's pure magic. The water doesn't just clean him, it cures his baldness. Suddenly, he's got this full, amazing head of hair. He looks in the water and sees this handsome hero looking back. It's like his outside finally matches the hero he became on the inside. He's not that outcast anymore.
He follows a light and it leads him to a cave, which of course turns out to be a witch's lair. She immediately wants to cook and eat him. But you know Keçəl. He uses that quick thinking, tricks her, and shoves her right into her own oven. But he can't celebrate for long because her 7 monster sons, the Divs, come stomping home and they can smell him.
And here we go again. Brains over brawn. He looks at these giant, dim-witted monsters and tells them their mom left a note saying they had to test their strength by standing under 7 huge millstones. And because they're not too bright, they actually believe him. Keçəl climbs up, pushes the stones, and takes out all 7 monsters in one shot. Absolutely brilliant.
And what does he find deeper in the cave? His real prize. A beautiful maiden, held captive by the Divs. He rescues her, they fall in love instantly, and they decide to head back to his village to get married and start their life together. But hold on, a trickster is always a trickster. He's not quite done yet. To get that happily ever after, he's got to pull off one last amazing and pretty hilarious scheme. So he needs a sheep for the wedding feast. He goes to buy one from this local religious leader, a mullah, who is known for being super greedy. The guy keeps jacking up the price and then says he'll only sell the sheep if Keçəl gives him and 2 of his buddies a free meal at the wedding. Get this, though. The mullah is so unbelievably cheap, he doesn't even want to bring 2 friends to share the free food. So what does he do? He dresses up his own wife as a man and tells everyone she's his holy nephew who just got back from Mecca. All so he can hog the extra food for himself. Of course, Keçəl sees through this terrible disguise immediately. But does he call him out? No way. He plays along. He makes a huge deal, saying what an honor it is to meet this, quote, holy man. He gives the nephew this super pious welcome, which involves lots of hugging and kissing. Then he insists this holy guest of honor must stay the night. The mullah is totally trapped in his own lie and ends up having to pay Keçəl 100 tumans just to get out of there with his wife. And with that, Keçəl finally gets his happy ending. He outsmarted every single greedy, corrupt, and powerful person who ever got in his way. And that kind of leaves us with a big question to think about, doesn't it? What does it really say about a society when the sharpest wit, the real justice, doesn't come from the people in power, but from the powerless guy that everyone underestimated?